Earlier last week, there was a proposal introduced on the forum of AAVE talking about the AAVEnomics implementation part one. Immediately after introducing the proposal, the AAVE token price actually went up quite a bit. It means the market actually considered the proposal a strong catalyst for the price of AAVE token. And so in this video, I would like to quickly go through what's the proposal is about and why the proposal is considered a catalyst or a support for the price of AAVE token. So the first part of the proposal is actually talking about the creation of the AAVE Finance Committee. And the main task of the AAVE Finance Committee is actually help to set up the upcoming umbrella upgrade and also help to set up the parameters. Umbrella upgrade is the update introduced by the AAVE DAO, trying to replace the existing safety module. Within the existing safety module, user can stake their AAVE token, can stake their gold stablecoin, and also can stake their ABPT V2 liquidity provision token, and to serve as a liquidation buffer in case there's any back debt involved in the lending and borrowing markets on AAVE. The assets staked by the staker here, AAVE, the gold, and ABPT might be used as a buffer layer to help to absorb the loss incurred by the back debt on behalf of the lenders, and therefore to protect the benefit of the lenders, and therefore to introduce more people to lend AAVE. And in return, the staker can earn some of the protocol revenue here, and then they can also earn some of the merit incentive distributed by the ACI. And so that is how the security margin works. But there's a few disadvantages for the current setup. The first, the biggest disadvantage is that there's the security module only accept AAVE, Go, and ABPT V2. However, there are like so many tokens available to be borrowed in the AAVE's lending market right now. So, for example, if today there's people people borrowing a lot of a Bell token, and then with for example CRV token, and the CRV token price went down so quick. And even though the liquidator stepped in to liquidate a CRV token, however, they are still not able to pay back. They're still not able to pay back all the BAL token borrowed by the borrowers. So it means that the BAL lenders is actually at risk of back debt. It means that there's a chance that they might not be able to retrieve all the BAL they lend to the lending market on AAVE. And that is when the staker of AAVE or Gold or ABPT V2 will step in. And the AAVE, the DAO, will actually sell part of the tokens into the Bell and pay back to the lenders, and therefore that lenders walk away intact, and therefore to protect the benefit of the lenders. This is a setup, and there's a few problems here. The first one is that during the market sell-off, for example, the CRV price goes down so quick, it is also highly likely that the whole market is actually moving lower. That is also when the AAVE token price and the gold peg is also actually under huge pressure. And this is the DAO. However, the DAO is forced to further add onto the selling pressure of AAVE and the gold into the Bell token, and then to protect the benefit of the lender of the Bell token. And it is not only inefficient, but also dangerous. Inefficient in a sense that the DAO will be forced to sell a very huge slippage of AAVE and Go, and just in return for much lower than the market average amount of the Bell token. And therefore, they actually got taken advantage by the other arbitrator and the liquidity provider. And it is also dangerous in a sense that whenever there's a market sell-off, the peg of gold is actually under huge pressure. And if the DAO further step in to sell the gold into the market, they're actually creating a risk for the gold to be significantly depegged. So that is, even though the current safety module is set up, and it is actually indeed significantly encourage the confidence of the lenders AAVE. However, the DAO thinks that this is actually not the best setup. And that's the reason why they come here to introduce the umbrella upgrade. So in the new umbrella upgrade, they are going to introduce more assets to be able to stake in the safety module. And they are also going to remove the staking of AAVE token. So AAVE going forward is going to be a planned vanilla coverage token. And whoever stake the AAVE, they will not be part of the safety module. They are only staking it to share the governance revenue and also to participate in the governance. And then that is the first upgrade introduced by the umbrella. And the second upgrade is that umbrella also make the upgrade that only the asset that is highly correlated with the asset of the back debt will be used as a liquidation as a buffer to help to absorb the loss. And in this way, they aim to minimize any slippage they might be incurred during this kind of market sell event, and they will not be forced to sell the asset with a huge slippage, and then only in return for a much smaller amount. For example, in case there's any stablecoin back debt, and the USDT and USDC will be slash. USDT and USDC staking the security module will be slash, and therefore to help to absorb the back debt. And for example, today there is any ETH LST like the Repsay ETH or Rocket ETH, or ETH RST ART like the EtherFi ETH or the Renzo ETH. If there is any kind of back debt related to such assets, the ETH stake in the new umbrella security module will be used to absorb the back debt. It means that the ETH will be actually burned, and then in return for the burning of the back debt asset, and therefore to protect the lenders. So in this way, the minimal level of swap is involved, and the minimal level of a volatile pair swap. Actually, no need to do any kind of volatile pair swap. So the slippage is minimized, the gas is minimized, and the risk of the DAO with the security model unable to absorb the back debt is also minimized. On top of that, the next upgrade of the umbrella introduced by the umbrella is the gold. And going forward in the umbrella security module, the gold stake in the security module is only responsible for the back debt of the gold debt. So it means that even if there's any kind of stablecoin back debt, like the DAI back debt, USDC back debt, or the USDC back debt, it is not relevant for the gold staker. The gold staker no need to worry about their asset being sold by the AAVE DAO into the market, and therefore are forced to depack during the market sell-off events. Even if during the market sell-off event, the gold staked within the security module will only be responsible for the back debt of gold. So it means that there's no swap involved, and they are actually burned in return for the burning of the gold back debt. So that is the upgrade introduced by the umbrella, and this is also the first reason why AAVE token is supported after release of the proposal. It means that the selling pressure, the uncertainty, the selling pressure of the AAVE during this kind of radical market sell-off event is actually limited. It means that AAVE DAO will no longer sell AAVE even during this kind of a market crash. And AAVE, going forward, AAVE will just be a plan for the conference token and will be eligible for protocol revenue and also the government's incentives. And the second part of the proposal is actually talking about how the finance committee will start to use the protocol revenue to boost the liquidity of AAVE, and also to use the protocol access revenue to distribute the incentive to AAVE stakers. So it means that the AAVE, the holder of AAVE, if they choose to stake their AAVE going forward, not only don't they need to worry about being slashed during the market sell event. It means that going forward, AAVE will also start to use their protocol revenue to buy back the AAVE token from the market and distribute the AAVE to the AAVE stock stakers. So it means that you actually create more incentive for the AAVE holders to hold at stake, and therefore to prop up the price of the AAVE. On top of that, if the AAVE holder chooses to stake, they'll also be getting the NT Gold. So NT Gold is actually a representation token. It actually encourages the AAVE holders to stake and therefore to borrow gold. With NT Gold, you can choose to either burn at a 1:1 ratio against the gold debt, or convert it to stake gold and be eligible for the merit and AAVE incentives. So it's actually encouraging AAVE stakers. It's actually giving like free samples of gold to the AAVE stakers, and it encourage the AAVE staker to either borrow more gold or to stake more gold, and therefore to prop up the peg of the gold price. And you can see that there's actually no option for AAVE staker to sell their anti-gold into gold and then sell to other stablecoins directly. So there is no worry about, no concern of the selling pressure for the gold. Therefore, the tag of the gold is actually intact. That is what the proposal is about. It's actually a pretty straightforward why the market thinks it is a strong catalyst for the AAVE token. So first, AAVE is no longer subject to slash and no longer subject to sell-off pressure during the market crash. On top of that, the AAVE will start to use the broker revenue to buy back AAVE token from the market and then distribute it as an incentive to AAVE staker and also to the security module contributors. Lastly, they also introduced anti-gold. So it is a kind of a free sample to encourage the AAVE stakers to either borrow gold or stake more gold. And therefore, they not only protect the value of gold, it also add on to the attractiveness of for the market participant to hold on to the AAVE token. And then lastly, you can probably use this graph made by the AAVE DAO to quickly summarize what the proposal is about. So you can see that in the upcoming umbrella stake gold in the security module will be only responsible for the gold debt. And even during the short event of the gold debt, they don't need to sell other kind of the stake tokens into the gold debt, and therefore to suffer the unnecessary slippage, they only need to burn the stake gold together with the gold debt, and therefore to protect the benefit of the lenders. And the stake AAVE holders, they don't need to worry about the debt. They don't need to about any kind of either whether it's a gold debt or any kind of other assets debt. The only thing they need to worry about is how to use their anti-gold. When they get an anti-gold, they can either use to stake it, you convert it into stake gold, or use it to write off part of the interest generated from their gold debt. And on top of that, they'll be also getting the broker revenue in the form of AAVE token that AAVE DAO buy back from the secondary market. And then this kind of a buyback AAVE will be distributed to the AAVE staker as an incentives. And then the most essence part of the umbrella algorithm is that when they borrow in the borrowing market, the finance committee will introduce more and more stake assets to be part of the security modules. And these assets will be responsible for those debt that is highly correlated with the token. So for example, if there's LST or LRT, the ETH stake in the security module will be responsible for writing off the back debt and protect the lender. So if there's any stablecoin back debt, USDT or USDT or DAI in the stake in the security module will be responsible for writing off the back debt. And they also distribute part of the revenue in the form of AAVE token into this kind of stakers. So the biggest difference compared to the existing security module is that the incentive will all going forward will be in the form of AAVE, which is bought back by the AAVE DAO from the secondary market, and therefore to prop up the price of AAVE token.